cover the front doors now. So up the top here you actually have, I've just taken it off, but there's like a tweeter mount. Trim tool just actually goes in behind there. The tweeter mount will pop off. Now it's quite funny, I actually saw a car the other day and it was a higher end one. It didn't even have the tweeters in here. And that was a tweeter like 19, might even been a Pajero Sport. Oh yeah, I think it was a Pajero Sport. So the tweeter hole was actually empty, which is irrelevant because if you put it in our system, it's all good because you will get tweeters in anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you'll just have to run the cable for the tweeter is the only thing. This is sort of the back is the same as the other rear door. Trim tool in there, pop off that. You've got a Phillips one in there, so undo that. And you've got a Phillips one in here again. So we're going to take out that. And again I've got the Phillips one over on the side here. Take out that. Just remember all these three are different sizes, so you can remember where they go. It'll be handy for you. And then I'm supposed to make sure the tweeter bit's off. And that should be about it on this one. Go around the side of your fingers, give a few sort of jerks, and then they kind of come up and out because it's got to lift out of the tray of the actual kind of windowsill part. And then the speaker, original speakers in here, is like exactly the same as the old one. We're just going to twist it and take out the plug. So I just go and take the whole door off here because it gives you just a little bit more room to like work. This black sticky stuff, if you do it in the sun, might drop down. You just got to stick it back on at the end. It's good stuff, very sticky. This has to unplug from your window control. You just got to pretty much get a flathead screwdriver on there and I'll push that tab down and then I'll pull it out. If it seems a bit jammed, so push it all the way back in again, push down hard and then I'll lever it out. And like these two things here like come out, you just got to like move them. You'll kind of see how they like come out. You just got to actually kind of come on a bit of an angle and then you'll line up this piece here and it just pops out. You'll like see what I mean when you start taking them off. They just you'll like move that cable back a bit and then it'll like pull out, and that was just your plug there. So that is the whole door skin out, and we'll go and put these speakers in. So this is a bit of an afterthought, but the top tweeter part, let me get the right side and I'll show you, sits in like that. So when you go to like pop it out, it's just a trim tool, pop it out, it has that one little clip in there. So trim tool in one side and that'll pull out. And then it actually has a tweeter exists, this is the original tweeter, it actually sits in there with this like bracket. And you've just got two Phillips screws to undo and then the tweeter comes out. And then what we will supply you with is a new bracket. They just screw over top of there and our tweeter that goes perfectly in the mount. So we've actually designed these so they fit in all happy days and exactly how they should. So that is what happens there. And then the bottom speaker, again like the rear one, if you just push in here, twist the speaker to get it out, and then you can get out this little plug here that should come out just by pushing down. That's the original speaker, so well due for an update. That's 4 ohms at 15 watt and we're putting a 150 watt one in, so you can just feel by the weight of them how much better the new ones will be. So the new tweeter's in here, so this is a Sconu. Go and pop straight in here, but this comes in like last because you need to put this on the door skin. But what we want to do is kind of hang this like down here because we have to put in the crossover. There you go guys, so I sort of try to make it make sense here. So we've got our new crossover box here. So input, positive and like negative, will like go into here, and the red being the other positive. That there is then going to plug into this plug. So you can actually, it's already got a hole in here, you can actually take it back out through its hole and plug it into here. So that's our input for our speakers done. Then we have our tweeter, which was the top speaker, which I've hooked in, that's fine, and our like woofer, which is the bottom one, which I've run up through here and in the back. because what's going to happen is we've got double-sided tape on the back of here. We're going to take our crossover box and we are going to slap it at the back here. Now you're mainly just after to get it out of the way of the window coming up and down. So that is your main concern. So you can see the runner for the window. So that's going to go in there like so. Make sure it sticks up outside nicely. Some of the stuff does change height and stuff, so you just want to make sure you are in a good spot for it to stick on. So that's all stuck in there. Then the woofer you had here, it's going to come in the bottom, like so. And that's just actually going to be the missing two things. Here you go there guys, a little update on the previous install video. I'm just going to tack this part in here. Previous one we talked about actually sticking this on the back side, like somewhere where it is not in the way and the window isn't going to hit it. So in this case here, we've actually worked out you can zip tie it on to the anchor point that's holding your power light window switch. And there's quite a lot of room there in the actual door panel. So over here for it to slide up into, you can see sort of up into there and sit in there. So that is the option there. So you can also do that. So we got the woofer plug into the woofer, tweeter into tweeter. You can just run the wires back behind the dust panel here. You can tie this up with some zip ties if you wanted to. But they are going to keep pretty tidy because they are trapped in the back here behind those. The input plug is just to the Mitsubishi input plug here. So just a little update there. And we also put the back foam stick was actually stuck against the door side, not to the back of the speaker. And that's a tweeter up there that we put in last. I find this back foam here, so the centerpiece of the foam, you can see where I've put it in there. You can see I put the window all the way down, so you can see where the window sits when it's all the way down. I just find it easier to stick it on the back of the door, in this case, for this install, instead of putting it on the back of the speaker here. Sorry, so back to putting in the woofer, the front speaker obviously won't have a tweeter in the middle because it's a component, so make sure you get that right. The wire here can actually be zip tied. There's one just inside that. You can zip tie it next to that. It has a little foam like backing on it, so obviously you just need to squeeze that in, line up our holes. That's pretty cool actually. We actually design and assemble these speakers in Australia, which I love. So that's the woofer in. Crossover's been plugged in here. Now tweeter needs to come in last. So what I'll do is I'm going to put a few zip ties on these wires, hang it up here so I'm ready to go, and then that'll basically be it. So the woofer's down here, tweeter's up there. What you can do now is start up the radio, just make sure you're getting sound through both of them, and then we can put it all back together. You can see just a few zip ties around here. The main thing you're trying to do is just make sure the wires don't get back into where the window goes up and down. This will quite often just come tagged off. So if you bring it back and stick it back on, that was always like that, so we'll come around, stick all that back down. That'll just come off if you're working in the heat or whatever. It's just that tacky stuff on there. So all those are behind there, the woofer's in, tweeter will go in last. And now I'll go and slide the door back on. So when you're doing the door, just remember you took out this plug. So put that big plug back in. You're basically just doing it in the reverse of the way you took it out. The yellow one was on top there, in terms of that cable, and that just slides in and then clicks back, and the yellow bit clicks into it. I'll lift that camera up in a second to show you guys what I mean. So hopefully you can see what I mean about the clips going in there. And then the blue and yellow bits clip into their homes, and the the pin bit goes at the end there. Now, just like that on the rear door, make sure you didn't forget any of the plugs when you went to do it. It's easy enough to forget some. And then kind of, I remember how it kind of sat down from the top first. So you put it in from, put it in from here first, so you want that to kind of go down. And then you can just kind of check around. What you're trying to look for is that those little white pins all line up, because they are what kind of holds it in, and then give it a few bangs. And then what you had floating around the front here was your tweeter cover. So this here can come in, tuck your wire down a bit, and the tweeter cover. There's that one in there and that one in the top. And that pushes on, like so. And then you've just got all your screws to put in. So you have a one in there, another one in here, and then one on the edge of the door. And that's the door back together, and that is that front speaker system installed. So there we have it done. That was the rear and the front speaker system done for our Triton upgrade kit. Now this is actually a kit we've designed and developed here ourselves. We actually make the amounts in Australia, which is cool. Obviously we're designed in Australia. So pretty awesome upgrade for this car, and that is the speaker kit upgrade, so front and rear. Then we also have for the full kit would be you add the sub in, which will show a video later on, which probably will be replaced behind the rear seats of the ute or underneath the passenger seat. You can do either. And then we actually have a specific extra micro amp that will be bringing out soon, with a tune on there to match this car, which we will pre-upload. So you get a fully DSP tuned sound system, which is pretty exciting because no one really does that. So hold out for that.